Good morning and welcome to the Dunton Homestead. We're off to another busy week. And when I mean busy week, usually it means I'm away from the home a lot. So when I'm home, I'm trying to be doing things that can save me time for when I'm home the next time. Get the freeze dry loaded, get something thawed out so that I can the next time around that I'm home. That's just the life of the homestead when you're not able to do this full time. But first, before we get started with what's going on for this week, I wanted to show you that Rick started a new project this weekend, and I'm pretty excited about it. So Rick built me, I guess it would be called a high tunnel. Well, it's not too high, but you know, we didn't have anything before. Or it could be called a cold frame. I'm really not sure what the difference is. I know it is not a greenhouse because we won't have electricity out here, but after he puts plastic on it, we can figure out how we can make the most of it to try and change the temperature out here just a little bit when it gets frigid like it is now. It's 29 degrees right now. Honestly, when I moved down to North Carolina, this is not what I signed up for. There was plenty of this in New Hampshire. There should be a great deal of room in here for me to figure out how to put plants in here, the seedlings. Now, if I was going to plant stuff in the ground, it's not a whole lot. There's not going to be enough room for all the seedlings that I started already, the broccoli, the cauliflower, and the Brussels sprouts. But if we put shelves in here, I'm really not sure what we're going to do, but we're going to have options. Which I think is kind of neat. If we had more of these cattle panels, we would do more of these. And the plan is to try and get some more. It's just where I was getting cattle panels before, I really would rather find someplace else that we can still afford. Having some sort of a cold frame or a high tunnel opens up more possibilities for things that we can grow more year round. So that's exciting to be able to do that. Another project that he was working on this weekend was trying to get our RV ready to sell. We bought this RV back in 2020 when we moved down here, and my parents put their house on the market. Sold like in 3 days, and I needed some place to put them. Because in 2020, as you remember, everything just kind of stopped. So Rick wasn't able to get a job as fast as he thought he would be able to, and I needed some place to put my parents. And where we were staying with my son wasn't going to work out. There was too many stairs, and although it's a big house, it's not like there's a ton of bedrooms and space for 4 generations. So I bought this when I was in New Hampshire from a friend of mine that owns a RV place. And it worked for them to live in for 3 months while I had them parked in a campground in Fort Mill, South Carolina. And it's been sitting here since we bought the house in June of 2020. The plan is to fix this up so we can sell it. There's a couple of things that need to be done on it, and then maybe buy some like farm equipment. Rick would like to have a tractor. And I would like to have more options set up for chickens, for raising chickens. So more chicken fencing, more coops, stuff like that, so that we don't always have to bring sick chickens into the house. We have other options of being able to put them outside, but keep them separate from the other chickens. One of the things that I try to do as a prepper or homesteader, which pretty much is interchangeable, I think, these days, prepping for the future, becoming more self-sufficient, is to try and grow my own stuff. Obviously, it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you have rough years. Sometimes time doesn't allow you to take care of your crops after you've planted them. Sometimes you forget to do something. Last year I forgot to plant zucchini. From what I understand, zucchini does really well around these parts. People had so many zucchinis, I was watching videos, I did not know what to do with. So going forward this year, I'm going to make sure I have plenty of zucchini to work with. one of the reasons why I want to have zucchini, as well as cauliflower and other things like that, is because I want to be able to start making my own traditional homemade foods without store-bought products. Now it may sound like, oh, I gotta do everything homemade. It's not just that. Recently, my husband Rick was diagnosed with diabetes, and they wanted to put him on the drugs. And we're trying to clean up his diet so that that's not something that's necessary. As you know, a lot of times when you go on drugs, it just causes other problems with other parts of your body. So a great deal of your health problems can be handled by paying attention to what you put in your mouth. We are real carb heavy around here. And so I'm trying to figure out, and this has been very frustrating, it's very hard meal planning, when all of a sudden I had all my meals planned, or like a couple months of meals planned that were in rotation, and then suddenly you can't do half of them because there's carbs, there's simple carbs, there's a lot of bread, there's rice, there's potatoes, that sort of thing. So trying to figure out how to do a balanced meal that doesn't have those carbs that are going to turn to sugar and spike his insulin, and the rest of us, because his is just showing up first. I'm sure if we all kept eating that the way we were eating, we would all end up with health problems. That's been a bit of a frustration. I know that a lot of people have turned to making flours out of vegetables and using replacements. For instance, like cauliflower pizza crust, cauliflower crackers. So my thought is I'm in a better position than a lot of people because I actually have a freeze dryer, which a lot of people don't have. It's on everybody's list. I tried to make it a priority last year, and then I was able to get it. By taking these vegetables, you can freeze dry them, dry them out, powder them, and then I guess make flour out of them. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So today I am going to freeze dry some zucchini and freeze dry some cauliflower. I'm pretty sure I still have some in the freezer. There was a sale, like 87 cents a bag a couple weeks ago when I stocked up. And just get in there. It's not going to be a completed process. I'm gone later on this afternoon to the night, and then I'll be back sometime tomorrow. Then I'm gone for 2 days, and then back on Friday. So as I had said at the beginning of the video, I'm trying to get things done now that I can work with when I am home. Every day is not going to be something. There's a lot of challenges going on right now where people are like, put something on the shelf every single day. Put something on the shelf. Pantry day, 365. I can't do that, not with my schedule I have right now. So just constantly keep moving, working towards that goal to get things on the shelf. That's how I try to arrange my days. So I'm going to go ahead and I've already washed the zucchini. I found a couple bags of zucchini on sale. They're starting to get soft, so it's a good thing I'm doing this now, otherwise they would go to waste. I'm going to get them in the food processor, which I got for Christmas from one of my kids, and then get them in the freeze dryer. So that should be done probably tomorrow night. I will be home tomorrow night, so I'll be able to take it out and put it into Mylar bags, and we'll see how it goes. I may try and put it in like the Ninja blender to see if I can get it into a powder form. Did not have as much cauliflower as I had. Apparently we used it for a few meals. I'm constantly watching the flyers especially during like non-growing season, to stock up on things that I wasn't able to get the crop that I wanted to get in the summertime. And right now I have seedlings started for cauliflower and broccoli and Brussels sprouts that will probably be going into the ground, or at least outside, start hardening up. I want to say the end of February, beginning of March. I really have to keep an eye on it because we've had a lot colder temperatures than what we've had in the last couple winters that I have been here. Now, they are cold hardy. The Brussels sprouts that I had thought was a loss that I have out in the lower garden, I thought that we lost it during the polar vortex freeze. Actually, they look pretty good. So I have to play it by ear and constantly be watching the weather forecast so that what I'm counting on to be able to put in the ground is something I can actually put in the ground and hopefully reap a harvest. This weekend I restarted some seedlings. I restarted cauliflower and broccoli and Brussels sprouts because the ones that I had started at the beginning of January, I wasn't paying attention enough to realize that they were getting very leggy. So they were like 3 or 4 inches tall and they weren't going to make it. So trying to keep the light on them, keep the light low, and make sure that they're watered and maybe have better luck this time around. They sprout pretty quickly. I already got some coming up. I started some, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this right, fenugreek seeds for sprouts. Supposedly this is one of the product superfoods that are good for diabetes. So as they turn green, if they turn green, I think they're supposed to, they've already started sprouting a little bit. I'll do more research on them. I think it's just something you would throw in a salad. A couple weeks ago I bought this, got it off of Amazon. It's just a 4-tier shelving unit, so I can make more space of this window, which is really the only good window I have in the house for putting plants. I ordered a second one, which had arrived last night, and I just need to put it together, and then that will be going in this spot here. This should really help with me getting the daylight that I need for my seedlings as they grow, instead of just all fighting for territory on this big long table. Now I'm going to make some more chicken broth. Now I know I made chicken broth last week. We go through a lot of chicken broth, but the truth is I have a lot of empty jars, or jars that were empty, and it takes just as much room to store an empty jar as it does a full jar. So I fill my jars with tap water, and then by the time I get around using it, in theory, in my head anyway, the chemicals that come from that the town treats it with have dissipated, and then I can use it for watering my seedlings or for cooking or for whatever I need it for. So that's how I store my jars when they don't actually have food in them. I'm going to take the jars, some of the jars that have water in them, and I'm going to turn it into chicken broth. Now when I'm done with the chicken, when I cook a whole chicken and I'm done with the chicken, I throw it in a freezer bag and I put it in my freezer in the garage. In my freezer in the garage, I have a plastic tote, just something cheap from the dollar store, about yay big, and that's where I put all my onion peels, celery, the ends of the celery, and other vegetables that I think would be good in a chicken bone broth, as well as the chicken carcasses. That way it's all together and I can actually find everything when I need it. So I've gone out to the freezer and I've grabbed a bunch of these bags, and I'm just going to go ahead and get my chicken broth started. I won't be canning this till later on this week. As I come home, as hours have gone along, I will siphon some off. I will put them out into the fridge. Guys, calm down. Put them out into the fridge in the garage so that the fat can rise to the top and I can scrape it and it's not a greasy mess when I am trying to can, so they'll have good seals. If I had enough time today to get this started and to do this, I would take the bones and roast them first in the oven, but I don't really have time for that right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw them in here if I can get them out of the bags. out more than what will fit. But I'm not gonna worry about it, because as it warms up, it'll sink in and it'll be very thick with chicken bones. I'm going to go ahead and leave this uncovered, and it will end up going below the water level, and then I can put the cover on it. I started off on high so it really gets boiling, and then I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. It's about half an hour later, and as I had assumed, I was able to put the cover on top of the crock pot, so now we can work up to a boil, and then I'll put it down to a simmer. Next up is I'm going to start pre-soaking some black beans. So I bought these, oh gosh, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 months ago. They were on sale for $1. It was like 10 for $10, and that was a savings of at least 79 cents a bag on the different grocery stores that I went and visited. So I'm like, oh, by the way, how much did I save? So the thing with dried beans, they're awesome to have as a prep food. They're awesome as a staple to make your meals go further, but they take prep. And so what is so much easier is to soak them, can them, and have them ready to use, as if you had bought a can off of shelf at the grocery store, only you're going to get a lot more volume for a lot less money if you do it yourself. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So you only fill, if you're using quart jars, actually whatever size jars, you only want to fill the jars up about 1/3 of the way. So I'm just going to do 2 bags. I think. And then fill it up with filtered water, or in my case, I'm filling it up with water that has already hopefully self-filtered, self-dissipated. Last time I did it, I put too much beans in, and it just kind of it made it more difficult for rinsing. So I'm just filling them up with more of the water that I've had in empty jars, or what would have been empty jars. Now in a couple of hours, I will rinse them and refill them with water, and then put them aside, and then anytime after tomorrow or tomorrow evening, these will probably be the first thing I will can, or what I will have ready to can, so I can put it on the shelf. That's all I'm going to be able to get done today. I got to get ready to get out of here for the rest of the evening. Pretty good start though, just for the week. I've already got my beans soaking so I can can them. I've got chicken broth going so I can can that later on, and hopefully I can do something with the zucchini and the cauliflower, which are in the freeze dryer and will be done tomorrow. All 3 of those things are things that I can do to get on the shelf, and that's what I'm trying to do, is just do something every day, even if it's not physically. Today I'm not putting a jar of something or a bag of something on the shelf. So that's what I got for today. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're not already. Be a blessing and be blessed.